Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the KLNS Rugby Podcast. As the elongated but enthralling 2023-24 season draws to an end, we're going to recap it all in a quiz-like fashion. My name is Kenan Scully, your Quizmaster General of the night. And over the next hour or so, my two contestants will battle it out to see who can recall Six Nations glory, European agony, World Cup pain, and hard-hitting scrutiny the best. It'll be a bit more positive than that, I promise. Without any further ado, let me introduce our guests tonight. Ready to pit their wits for the sake of provincial bragging rights, I am first joined by a fan favourite of the show, Leinster's David Cordial. David, how are you?
I'm great, Cal. Good to be here.
So it's good to have you on. It's good to test your knowledge because I know you watch most games more than me, anyways. So we'll see how that one goes. And I'm also joined by, for the second time on this podcast, by a Munster representative. He's a proud Limerick man who's not heading to Limerick on Sunday. It is Ben Leahy. Ben, how are you?
Evening all. I don't like sport anymore, but it's fine.
Said like a man who hasn't been watching the opening round of the Open Championship just before we
I've
record.
been working, it's fine.
Sure. Lads, we're going to start off. So just for everyone at home, if you want to play along, you can. First round's going to be a specialist subject. I quiz the two lads on their specialist province. Then we're going to have a round on Ireland, on the URC, on Europe. We have a Do you Remember Me round where I give facts about players and the lads have to guess who it is. We have a last man standing, similar to off the balls past the parcel round. That'll probably take up a good bit of time. We've got a World Cup round and then a miscellaneous round at the end. Gentlemen, I know you're ready to go, so we will start things off with the specialist subjects to ease the nerves. David, you can just answer straight out to me here, starting with Leinster and starting with yourself. Question number one: who were Leinster's top try scorers this season? You can just give me one. That same question will come up for Ben. You can just give me one. You get it. You got it right.
I'm pretty sure our top try scorer this season was Jordan Larmour.
Jordan Larmour is one of the correct answers. Well done. That is correct. Secondly, and I know you've asked me about this guy before, so hopefully you can get it. Question number two: what AIL star made his Leinster debut against the Sharks?
That would be Dylan Donnellan.
This is a good start. This is where Ben's nerves are going to start to kick in now, but this is the difficult one. How many caps did Rhys Ruddock finish his Leinster career with?
Oh God.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
lot.
It's I don't know an exact number. It's north of 200.
It's north of 200.
I'm gonna say it was like 223.
229.
Oh,
that was close. I'll give you that. That was very, very close. The next one is a little bit easier. So Leinster's Invested Champions Cup pool this season featured 6 teams, themselves, 2 French, 2 English, and 1 other URC team. Who was that URC team that didn't play?
in our pool.
Yes.
Oh, our pool that we didn't play. Oh, I'm drawing a complete blank. No,
I feel like Ben knows this.
I have no idea. Who was it?
It was the Stormers, who famously beat La Rochelle down in Cape Town with a last-minute lad, Manny Libwa.
Yes.
And then almost did it again in the quarters.
Oh, yes, almost did it again in an even more entertaining game. But finally, to try and make it 3 out of 5, probably the most difficult question of the 5, and Ben, you're going to get a similar one. How many players did Leinster use this season?
I'm pretty sure we used 57 players.
Correct. Brilliant. Well done. Great start. That is 3 out of 5 to start the specialist round for David. Ben, absolutely no pressure. Your specialist subject is, of course, Munster. Not that anyone, needs to guess or anything. If they're watching on YouTube, they can see the Munster jersey. Otherwise, they can hear the Limerick accent. Question number 1, same opening question as David. Who was Munster's top try scorer this season? And again, they have 2, so if you can give me either of them.
Thomas Ahern?
Thomas Ahern is correct. He's one of them. The other one was Shane Daly. So that is those 2 for that one. Question number 2. This one's a little bit trickier. Owen Clark and which former AIL star outside back joined Munster during the season? Didn't play any pro games. Did play against Harlequins where he looked like Christian Cullen. But do you remember his name?
Oh, my head's going Tony Butler, but it's not.
It's not Tony Butler. I think he played for the same club as Tony Butler. I could be wrong there too.
Nah. Go on.
It is Colm Hogan. Colm Hogan featured only
Did he
against
play in
Quins.
the 20s game? Did he play in that game out in North Crescent?
He could have. I wasn't there. It was not
I
streamed.
was there. I can't remember.
I was working that evening. Anyways, question number 3. This one I feel like is very common. Munster won their final 9 regular season league games this season. We won't talk about how it ended. But in those last 9 games, how many league table points did they accumulate?
Okay, give me a minute.
I feel like
5,
David's going to be working this out, and you're going to be close to it anyways.
50. So the final, we're not counting Ulster, we're just counting the league games.
Just the final 9 league games of the season, that famous run where they went unbeaten before the Ospreys game in the quarterfinal.
19, because we didn't get the BP against Edinburgh.
Well, it's the final 9 games.
Final 9. Sorry. We
Yeah,
lost to
no, that's
Northampton
fine.
and we went to play the Bulls. Sorry.
9 games. How many points? I feel like it's just fair because you've obviously started the first time. Gonna have to push, yeah.
40.
It's 44. 44 out of 45 points. Bonus points galore. Apart from not the Edinburgh game, it was the Cardiff game in Thomond Park. The real janky performance where we only found out after the fact that half the team was sick.
Yeah.
Next question.
Cardiff threw janky performances out of a lot of teams, to be fair to them.
Cardiff are a bloody good team,
Cardiff
even if they
are
didn't get the wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to give them that. So there you go, Welsh Rugby Twitter. There's your praise. You can hop off now. Next question. Who scored Munster's decisive try in the win over the Crusaders down in Porky Queeve? It was a forward. All the tries from Munster came from
Scott Buckley.
Oh, well done.
Scott
Well done.
Buckley.
It was Scotty Bucks, who is now on his way to Ranwick, where he might bump into Eddie Jones and David Nusafora. And if he does, turn left, go the other way. Final question. Same as what I asked David. How many players did Munster use this season? It's less than Leinster's, but everyone's is less than Leinster's. Leinster's with most in Ireland.
54.
How many players did they use? What was
54.
that? No.
5-4. No.
It was 47. 47 players used. Now, probably worth noting they had a number of senior players who didn't play any games this season, but that's for the Red Army podcast. That's not for this one. So, David, you win that round by 3-2. Well done there. We're going to move on. So for these ones, you're going to have to write them down. So we're going to do the next 2 rounds. Then we'll get the answers off you. Question number 1. We're going to talk about Ireland. Andy Farrell has given us a phone call. He's rang us up. This is our call up. This is a chance to shine against the Griquas. So let's talk about Ireland. First question, number 1. Ireland opened up their Rugby World Cup campaign against Romania under the beating sun, but in what French city was that game held? Just remember to write it down. I know it's opened their World Cup campaign against Romania. I think Ireland put like 80-something points on them, but in what city was it held? And the reason I picked that game was because neither of you were at that game. I knew you were at the other venues. So it was work smart, not hard. Next question. Which young Irish back row forward was nominated for the Women's Six Nations Player of the Year award? Now, I don't know if this is a hint, but they wore a red scrum cap, but then at the same time, an Irish red scrum cap wearing back row who was just unbelievable. Doesn't really narrow it down. There's multiples of those. So, Women's Six Nations Player of the Year nominee who wore a red scrum cap. I know David is struggling. It's one of those. Once you hear it, it's one of those. She was absolutely sensational, especially down in Musgrave Park against Wales, who they hockeyed down there. We're going to have to move on. Question number 3. These are the ones you hate. What was the final score of Ireland's Six Nations title-deciding win over Scotland? In the Aviva Stadium, emotional game. I told you it's going to be ones like these where it's going to be very, very difficult. Ireland won by a score. We'll put it that way. They won by less than 7. Won by a score. But against Scotland, that final game, what was it? Not a high-scoring game either. Worth noting. It wasn't like 33, 34. It was not awful. It was just Ireland were janky, to use that word
Sorry,
again.
Ireland were junky. Yeah, that's fair.
Next one. I feel like this one is, you'll definitely know this, even if you don't quite write it down. Who won player of the match when Ireland beat South Africa in their World Cup pool game? Was an unbelievable World Cup for this player, was an unbelievable game. Himself and his opposite man were both phenomenal in a real physical encounter. I feel like, yeah, you jumped in straight away. You probably know this. And number 5, this one is tough for anyone at home. You may need Google for this one. Give me the name of the young singing sensation who wowed us with his renditions of Ireland's call against Italy in the men's Six Nations and Italy in the women's Six Nations, I believe, actually. I think it was both up in Dublin. Youngster from Kilkenny, fine voice, probably the most atmosphere we got out of that game against Italy. But that says more about the Aviva Stadium than anything else, to be honest. Gentlemen, that's it for that round. We will come back. We will mark those rounds in just a minute's time. But for the next one, it's time for the best round because it's the best league and it's the URC. So, question number 1 for round 3. Who was the league's top try scorer this past season? There's a lot of forwards in the top like 15 of that list. This player was not Irish, even though they might have a slightly Irish sounding name. This player may or may not have made it all the way to the final. I don't know. I'm not saying, but top try scorer this season. I don't know. Did they score all intercepts or all maul tries? Who knows? Let's move on from that one. Number 2 in this third round. Who kicked a last-minute drop goal to beat Connacht in round 4 of the URC? Now, they're a Scottish international. They'll be well known to Irish fans. The cracking game, Connacht kind of lost that from the jaws of victory. We'll move on. Next one. This one is tricky. This one is niche. Which South African franchise did Zebra defeat early in the season? I mean, there's a 25% chance you get this one right. Like realistically off the bat. And even at that, they didn't win it away from home. So, there's that too. Who did they defeat early in the season? The next one, and I know you're going to smile when you hear this question. Who became the first team to win in Pretoria this season? If looks could kill, ladies and gentlemen, if looks could kill.
Look, it's not
Who
fair.
became the first team to win in Pretoria? Only 2 teams have ever done it. One of them, I didn't see it, so therefore I don't know if it ever happened. I'm just saying, I was working that day. And the final
first
question.
European team. Other South African teams have won.
First EU team.
Yes.
We go with that one. Finally, which Scottish centre scored the game-winning try as Glasgow were crowned URC champions? I think they had 3 Scottish international centres on the pitch in that game. Maybe just 2, possibly 3. I feel like if you take a stab at it, you might get this. So we're going to move on. We're going to go on to the European round. Just a final run through of those questions. Question number 1 was who was the league's top try scorer? The league being URC. Question number 2, who kicked a last-minute drop goal to beat Connacht early in the season in round 4? Question number 3, which South African franchise did Zebra defeat early in the season? Question 4, who became the first team to win in Pretoria? As David pointed out, the first European team, could also say the only EU team to win in Pretoria, but we're not the Rest is Politics podcast. That's not us. And question 5, which Scottish centre scored the game-winning try as Glasgow were crowned URC champions? Again, don't know if that happened. Didn't see it. I wasn't there. So, anyways. Next round is a European round. So I'll just get these off you and then we'll get the scores because the next 2 rounds are going to be long after that. So Europe is up next. The first one is pretty straightforward. Which French side drew their first ever Champions Cup game in Thomond Park in December? Now again, I wasn't really there for it, so I don't know. Maybe it didn't happen. I don't know. Not that Munster did much better when I was in Thomond Park either, but it's an entirely different question.
I was going to say it didn't go so much this year.
I mean, that's a factor too. So which French side drew their first ever Champions Cup game in Thomond Park in December? The next one's a bit of a thinker, so I'll give you a minute. Sia Khaleesi and Stephen Kitsoff faced off in the pool stage, but which team won that game? So you're going to need to think about what clubs they're playing with, and who won the game when they faced off. Sia Khaleesi, World Cup winning captain twice over. Stephen Kitsoff, World Cup winning Irish-looking loosehead prop, two-time World Cup winner that is. Both faced off in the pool stage. Pool 3, I'm going to guess. Pool 4, maybe? I don't know. I don't care. Who won that one? It was Khaleesi against Kitsoff. But which team? Now, if you gave me the name by accident, that's fair enough. But which team won that one? 3. This one might suit one person in the audience. What was the full-time score as Leinster eliminated La Rochelle in this year's Investate Champions Cup quarterfinals? Now, if there was ever... Now, we would never condone cheating. We'd never condone cheating. But I'm sure if one of our participants looked into their phone, they would have a full-time score of that scoreline. Or a picture of that full-time scoreline. Because it was a memorable game. It was one of Leinster's
Is it a
best
screensaver, Dave?
Probably. Like, I probably have it somewhere if I want to. I have it written down here beside it, but I probably have it somewhere as well. Full-time score, Leinster defeating La Rochelle in the quarterfinals. You don't have it, that's fine. We'll move on. The next one, you will know when you weren't both there, but have different recollections on this. Question 4. Who scored the decisive try for Toulouse in this year's final? Now, this is a very niche joke. So for the 10 or 15 like hardcore Munster fans out there, this is the first time, as far as I'm concerned, that this player didn't score against Munster. Because he likes scoring against Munster, didn't really score against anyone else. But decisive try scorer for Toulouse in this year's final. I think it's uphill from here, David. It's fine. I think that's the end of the Leinster jokes from me. Important to state. Finally, which English player was the tournament top scorer, not try scorer, top point scorer this year? Some call him Rugby Jesus. Some say he's overrated. Some say he's just a good player. I don't know. Top point scorer, English player in this year's competition.
He has lovely hair.
Sure, don't they all have lovely hair? Isn't that
We can't mention lovely hair without mentioning Frank Murphy. And why would you make me mention Frank Murphy?
Frank Murphy does have lovely hair.
Oh God, we are spiraling out of control. So I'm going to go back up to round 2. I hope you have it written down. I didn't chuck it in the bin. So the first question in round 2 was Ireland opened up the World Cup campaign against Romania under the beating sun, but in what city was it held? David, do you remember?
Bordeaux.
Well, Bordeaux, correct. Ben, did you get that one?
Yes.
Well done. The second one, I know David was thinking hard about this one. Which young Irish back rower was nominated for Women's Six Nations Player of the Year? Ben, did you have it?
Is it Aoife Wolf?
Aoife Wafer.
Wafer.
I can't give it to you. Seeing as neither you got it, I can't give it to you. No. The full-time score in Ireland's Six Nations title decider against Scotland. That was 17-13.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a scalp for David right there. I must say that is quite a good one.
The memory of that game is still seared into my brain. That was
I remember I remember 2 things from that game. One of them I might tell you after, and the other one is Peter Manny crying causing me to cry.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on. There'll be enough about the World Cup later. Anywho, who won player of the match when Ireland beat South Africa in the thrilling pool game in the World Cup? Did you have it? Then
I went Byrne, but I don't think I'm right.
No, you're not right, David.
No, it's Bundy Aki.
It was Bundy Aki.
Bundy
was. Now, to his credit, Tyke Byrne did exactly what he did the last weekend as well, where first half, is he out there? Second half, oh, he is.
No.
It was a very similar performance. I can see.
Ireland were playing a big team.
Yeah.
Tyke Byrne does things when we play big teams. He's Tyke Byrne.
Yeah, that's true. Although I feel like Tyke Byrne has even bigger performances when his team loses. But again, enough about Munster's season and how that spiraled out of control. Finally, give me the name of the young singing sensation who wowed us with Ireland's call. Ben, do you have it?
Stephen Mulrooney.
Correct. David, did you?
No. I was there. I was there too.
You were sat not too far away from me as well.
I knew he was the Late Show kid, but I didn't.
I'm not gonna lie, Kira did a pub quiz 3 weeks ago and it was a question on it. It's written over here. I can't remember which question it was.
I mean, I can't see it, so technically it's not cheating. David, if you wrote down Toy Show Kid, I feel like I have to give you half a point for that. Because we're guaranteed to have at least one non-Irish listener who's listening to this being like, Fuck is a toy show. I think that's enough. Can I get your scores in that round? So, David.
3 and a half out of 5.
Okay, I'll give you 3. I'll be sound. I'll give you 3.5. Ben,
Solid
3 as well.
Solid
So,
3.
best league round. Question number 1: who's the league's top try scorer? Did anyone get Johnny Matthews? Ben got
Yes.
Johnny Matthews. Can't believe it. Ben loves Glasgow.
Ben
Anyways,
loves Glasgow.
Matthews.
We are warriors.
Ben will know the next one, I feel like. Who scored that last minute drop goal to beat Connacht in round 4? Ben.
Kylo Ben.
It
Kylo
was. It
Healy.
was Ben Healy. David, did you have that
Yeah,
one?
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry
That
about
was. That was. I mean this in the nicest way possible. That was a very Premiership type of game.
Yeah.
Deeply unserious, but a lot of fun to watch. Number 3: who did Zebra beat at home soil of the South African teams? Did you guess the Sharks?
Sharks.
Yes, it was the Sharks.
I didn't have to
1-1.
get you're talking to Zebra's #1 Irish fan here. I didn't have to guess. I watch
Yes,
all
but
of their
that's
games.
one
I
out
watch
of
all
two,
of their
David.
I watch all of their games too.
That's 1 out of 2. That doesn't. I don't know if that counts, but anyways,
They're an
I'll give-
annoying team because they score a lot of tries and you think maybe this time. No, it's not this time. Never this
They
time.
also forget that defending is half the part of the game.
Yeah.
Great team. Everyone loves Zebras, in fairness. The first team to win in Pretoria was, of course, Munster, as I think both you would have known. You both rolled your eyes when you heard that one. And the Scottish centre who scored as Glasgow were crowned URC champions also scored in Dublin against Ireland. It was Hugh Jones.
It's your chance.
Yeah, I know. It was not the guy who punches his chest and then proceeds to play shite. Anywho, finally, for the European round, round 4, question number 1, French side who drew their first game in Thomond Park, that was Bayonne. If you want to put in Aviron Béarnais, I will accept that as well. Sia Khaleesi and Stephen Kitsoff faced off in the pool stage. So Sia Khaleesi was with Racing, Stephen Kitsoff was with Ulster. Which team won? It was Ulster. Ulster won that one up in Kingspan Ravenhill. Won the only European win that Ulster had this season, actually. Sorry, Ulster fans. Full-time score as Leinster eliminated La Rochelle in the quarterfinals. That was 40-13. 40-13. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think that was the same scoreline as Ireland bet England by in 2007. I think. And I could be wrong there, but I think it's pretty close. I was going to give that as a hint, but I wasn't 100% sure. The decisive try scorer in this year's final was Matthew Slabell. Yeah, the winger who usually only scores against Munster. And the Rugby Jesus award for the top point scorer in this tournament was Marcus Smith. Marcus Smith, yes. I know, guys. So David, what did you get in your URC round?
Round 3, I got 4 out of 5.
You got 4. Ben, in your URC round?
Also 4.
4. And in that round, Ben?
4.
4. And for yourself, David?
3.
3. Oh, it is neck and neck. It is 13.5 to 13, I think.
You can knock that half point off. That's not fair. That's
If
not
this
fair.
Not the half point unless it
play.
matters in the end, and then he can't.
There would be a tiebreak question. I did not have a tiebreak question ready, which was really stupid of me as well at the same time. But sure, it's the taking part that counts. Anyways, on to the Do You Remember Me round.
As a Leinster fan, I keep telling myself
We're Irish fans. That's all we have at the moment.
that.
We're rugby fans. That's literally all we have at the moment. There's nothing on apart from the local tag rugby down the club. If you have it, great initiative for anyone who does have that. So this next round is a Do You Remember Me round, also known as a Guess the Player round. I'm going to give 5 clues. Players just say your name and you will get a chance to guess. Now, realistically, you're not going to get on the first go without a massive dollop of luck. So you don't have the answers, but we'll see. So if you want to jump in, you can. Question number 1. I'm an ex-Irish player turned pundit. Does anyone want to try it? Ben?
He slips.
No, it's not Jamie Heaslip. David, do you want to take a go?
Zebo.
No, it's not Simon Zebo. Too soon. Too soon, David. The next one, I played for Leinster, where I won 203 caps for my province.
Brennan Driscoll.
It's not. Ben, do you want to have a go?
Darcy?
No, it's not. I represented the Lions in 2005. Let's skip that one. I'll move on.
One
I
more.
scored 26 tries for Ireland.
Lukey.
No, David.
I'm drawing a blank. I have no idea.
Thinking is not great on an audio podcast, but if you're on visual, David
No.
has a stunning Zoom background, so it's fine.
Thank you.
You want to take a guess?
Oh, no, I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna hate
Okay.
myself for this.
This is the last clue. If you
Yeah.
have it, say your name before you jump in, just so you can. I played wing and centre for club and country. Pundit, Leinster, 203 caps. Lion, 26 Irish tries, wing and centre. David, do you want to jump in? No?
No, Shane Horgan? No.
It is Shane Horgan.
Shane
Well
Horgan.
done. That is very good. I was so close to saying scored the first try in Thomond Park or in Croke Park, but then I remembered, no, that was Rog, the first Irish player to score in Croke Park. He did have the assist in that game, though. The wing and centre one, Shane Horgan played a lot in centre. Anyways, the next one. Now, for anyone who knows this podcast, no, I love my French players. This one is a proper, do you remember him? Right. I'm a famous long-haired French flair player. That does not narrow it down, but if you want to take a guess, you can.
No, thank you.
No guesses?
Jan Nugent?
No, it's not Johan Huge. I would that's not a bad one. I don't know. Yeah, he's long hair with flair. I don't know. Flaky, yes. Next round. I played in the centre and captained both club and country. Will we move on to the next guess?
Yeah.
Okay. I spent 19 years at my club where I've played 417 times. Now, I don't know if I've ever seen a number that high. I'm not even sure if it's correct, but that's what was on Wikipedia. 417 times for my club.
That is.
I know it's not, but I'm just going to go Bastro just to rule him out.
It's not Bastro, no. He did have long hair for a while. I'll give you that.
And he was around for years.
He was. David, do you want to take a guess?
Ooh. No, I've got nothing. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay. The next one might be a crucial one. The last guess will definitely be crucial. This one. I won 2 top 14 titles and 1 Challenge Cup, but lost 3 Heineken Cup finals.
Oh, no.
And this is a one club man.
Oh.
The struggle is real.
No. Shepensy? No.
No. Ben, do you want to have a go?
No, give me one more.
Okay, this one is going to be crucial. Say your name if you want to jump in, if you think you have to get in before the other person. You might remember my former club centre partner as being Wesley Fofana. You're going to be kicking yourselves when you hear this. Right, I'll go back over them all. Long-haired French player, played in the centre and captain club and country. Spent 19 years with my club where I played 417 times. Won 2 top 14 titles and 1 Challenge Cup, but lost 3 Heineken Cup finals. And played in the centre alongside Wesley Fofana. This player has played in Thomond Park. They've played in the RDS. Probably played in Ravenhill. Played Heineken Cup finals. They've lost them. They haven't won them. I'll let you have one guess each before we move off. Who wants to go first? You should really want to go first in case the other person gets it, but okay.
No.
My brain is dying. I haven't a clue.
No.
It's Aurelian Rougerie. I knew this was going to be one that you're going to be standing back and thinking, how the fuck did I miss that? Number 3. See, this is a fun round. I like this round. Number 3.
It's nice having the answers. Yeah.
It's fair handy having the answers in front of you. Jeez, every quiz should be like this. Number 3. We're back. This is our first current player. Okay. I'm a 26-year-old current world star. It's not Dupont, because I know when you're going to say Dupont. It's not Dupont. Do you want to take a guess, or do you want to move on to the next guess?
Antoine and Mac.
No. David?
26. How old's Crowley these days? No, I don't know.
Leinster man just called Crowley a world star. That's rare.
Playing for the crowd.
That's more praise than he got on Sky Sports. Anywho, I'm an all black with 31 caps to my name. Again, it's so easy when you have the answer in front of you.
D-Mac?
No.
Yeah,
I feel like he'd be older. Ben?
Moonga?
No. Not a bad guess either. This one might be crucial. Say your name if you want to jump in front of the other person. I was the top try scorer at the last World Cup.
Oh, David, Mark Tlaya?
No. Ben?
Ioane?
No. Oh, lads, what are you doing? This one again is crucial. I have 5 Super Rugby titles with the Crusaders.
Oh, David, Will Jordan.
It is Will Jordan. It is Will Jordan. Talea wasn't a bad guess. I'll give you that.
He kept scoring the first tries in a bunch of matches.
My brain kept saying Sevilla, but Sevilla's not 26.
Sevilla is also, top try scorer of 2015 World Cup, if you want to go with that one. Which wouldn't technically be wrong. Yeah, but I did say last World Cup.
Yeah.
This one is a blast of the past, and it's another. Do you know what? I'm just going to throw it out there before we start. Another guy with luscious long locks. Firstly, I'm a former Springbok known for having a cannon of a boot. Again, doesn't narrow it down a lot. A lot of Springboks have a massive boot. Do you want to take a guess? No? Move on.
Francois Steyn.
Not Francois Steyn. Yeah. That's not bad. I was the first Springbok to win 100 test caps. Now, I'll throw this out there. It's not like 1990s or anything like that this person got those caps. It's more recent than that. They got them in the late 2000s. First Springbok to win 100 test caps.
Percy Montgomery.
It is Percy Montgomery. That is good. That is good. The next one I feel like would have suited Ben more than David. I famously played club rugby with the Dragons for 2 seasons, which is so random. So random.
He is still their best player of all time.
But that's not hard.
It's a low bar.
Bernard Jackman's still their best head coach of all time. But again, do you know what I mean? I'm South Africa's top point scorer of all time, and I was the starting 15 of the 2007 Rugby World Cup South African winning team. Percy Montgomery was correct. So I believe that is 1-1 after 4. Am I right in saying?
Dave got Horgan as well.
No, Shade.
Oh, yeah. 2-1 after 4. Apologies. Finally, I'm a former Ireland international who also won an All-Ireland minor hurling medal. Now, when I wrote this up, I didn't realize we'd be recording an All-Ireland final week. A good coincidence to have.
It's fine. I don't care. It's fine.
Too soon. You want to take a stab at it? Okay, next guess. I played for Munster, but had brief stints in both England and France. When we get to the last guess, it's going to be very obvious. Like they all are, really. Next, I'll go with the next guess. I won just 24 Ireland caps, despite being integral in a Grand Slam. Now, I did say Munster. It's not Dan Levy, which, if I threw that in beforehand, it would have been actually probably better because you would have guessed Dan Levy. But anyways, do you want to take a guess, either of you? Okay, we'll move on. I was selected for the 2009 Lions, but never travelled. No. Okay. A couple of players didn't travel. Now, if you have this one, say your name before you jump in. Looking at you, David. I was the starting Munster scrum half for the 2008 Heineken Cup final. And the 2009 Grand Slam decider. For what it's worth.
Oh, O'Leary?
You want to give your name first?
David,
Yes.
DCU. O'Leary?
It was Tomas O'Leary.
Did O'Leary start the Grand Slam decider?
Yeah, he did start that game. Peter Stringer did get off the bench and did throw the pass to Rog. But Tomas O'Leary started that game. So now the scores are currently 16.5 to 14. But the next round is a pass the parcel round, and it's worth 5 points each. Okay, I'm going to get my phone ready because I'm going to give you a starting clock. And it won't be exactly 30 seconds, but sure, look. Name Ireland's 2023 Rugby World Cup squad. And I'm going to get this clock started. So you can be writing out your notes if you want to. Ireland's 2023 World Cup squad. So just to annoy them, Simon Gagan, Dion O'Quinnigan, Ralph Keys, Shane Horgan, Murray Best, Neil Francis. No, none of them were there. We're at 17 seconds. I'll give you 35 seconds just to be different. Ireland's 2023 World Cup squad. Didn't go all the way. Shocker. I know. It was tough. And 3, 2, 1, stop. Okay, you can still make notes as you're going along, but it's just important, just for timekeeping. So, David, you're in the lead. I'll let you start with this one. Ireland's World Cup squad. You just give one at a time because it's last man's on.
Okay. Andrew Porter.
Andrew Porter is correct. Ben.
Tyke Byrne.
Tyke Byrne is correct. Ben likes Tyke Byrne. David, we'll just go back and forth. Let's stop saying their names.
Ty Furlong.
Tyke Furlong was at the World Cup, correct. The first time I wrote out these notes, I actually forgot the tight head props, believe it or not. And I was wondering why the squad looked light. Ben, next one.
Bundyaki.
Bundyaki. Yeah, I suppose if you're going to get man of the match in a game, you're probably going to be at the World Cup. Back to yourself, David.
Joe McCarthy.
Big Joe McCarthy. I feel like that could have been a sleeper pick that you leave till later.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Get it out of the way. Ben.
Caelan Doris.
Caelan Doris was there, correct. I feel like there's one name in particular that I feel like could help you get it wrong. Back to yourself, David.
Johnny Sexton.
Yeah, he was. He was there.
He was.
He was there in spirit. Ben, back to yourself.
Dan Sheehan.
Dan Sheehan was there. Missed the early games, but he was there. David.
Ross Byrne.
Ross Byrne was there. Now, as many people who remember, Ross Byrne was expected to go as Ireland's number 2, got leapfrogged by Jack Crowley, but of course neither of which got on the field in the World Cup quarter final. Ben, back to yourself.
You just said him, Jack Crowley.
Jack Crowley. We shouldn't have given the name in the middle of this. But to be fair, there was no way Ben was not getting Jack Crowley.
No, he was next on my list anyway.
Okay. David, back to yourself.
James Lowe.
James Lowe was there. Correct. Ben.
Craig Casey.
Craig Casey was also there. Yes. David.
Gibson Park.
Jensen Gibson Park was there. Correct. Ben.
Josh van der Fleer.
Josh van der Fleer was there. Well done. David.
Hugo Keenan.
Do you know what? Hugo Keenan was not just there. He was one of Ireland's best players this World Cup. Correct. Ben.
Gary Ringrose.
Ringrose was also there. We're kind of getting through most of the starting 15 anyways. David, back to yourself.
Mac Hansen.
Mac Hansen was also there. Correct. That's Ireland's back 3 starting centres and starting halfbacks all done. Back row's not complete though, or second row. David and Ben.
Oh, did he go or did he not? Ian Henderson.
Ian Henderson did go. Ian Henderson started that World Cup quarter final rather famously, caused an awful lot of arguments, but that's for an off the pod conversation. David, back to yourself.
For the sake of those arguments, James Ryan.
Do you know what? James Ryan also went, and he was also involved in another argument. Well, he wasn't. We all were. But anyways, then back to yourself.
Jordan Larmore.
Incorrect.
Ah,
Jordan Larmore did not go.
did he not travel?
He didn't travel. David, I'll see how many others you got. Do you want to try and name the rest?
Ryan Baird.
Ryan Baird was there. Yep.
Jack Conan.
Jack Conan, correct.
Keane Healy.
Keane Healy did not go.
Oh, he didn't
He
go,
got
did he?
injured
No,
against
he got
Samoa.
injured.
Yeah. So the remaining players, Jeremy Luckman and Dave Kilcoyne of the Loosehead Props,
Oh, Killer went.
Ronan Kelleher and Rob Herring, Vinny Beelum and Tom O'Toole, Peter O'Mahony. I'm ashamed of you. You didn't get Peter O'Mahony.
Should get 2 Peter Romani, but yeah.
Conor Murray. And then up the backs, Robbie Henshaw, Stuart McCluskey, Jimmy O'Brien, and Keith Earls. Now,
Oh, I'm ashamed.
that's not
I'm
great. Now.
ashamed of myself.
You went for Jordan Larry before Keith Earls.
Yeah, I did.
Ruminate on that.
I know that's gonna have to be the fake bet. I throw that into the Discord group. Anyways, we're back for another 30-second timer. This one, okay, arguably this is more up David Street. Every try scorer for Leinster this season. Go. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of try scorers for Leinster. I feel like there could be the guts of 40 players who scored a try. It's very easy, to be fair, to score for Leinster. It's kind of like the Haaland Man City theory. It's like, well, if I got that many touches with an open goal, I'd probably score about 10 goals as well. But
That's fair.
and that's probably implemented by some of the players who scored. But anyways, I'll give you a couple more seconds because I was talking over it. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hands down. Right, David, you won the last round, so I'll let you take over here. Give me any Leinster try score.
I'll start with the losing answer from the last round, Jordan Larmour.
Jordan Larmour is correct. That is an ultimate troll move there. And
He
then
was going to be my first. Dan Sheehan.
Dan Sheehan is also correct. David?
Caelan Doris.
Caelan Doris is correct. Now, the only thing is, because there's so many names, it's going to take me a little bit longer to find them. But yes, Ben.
James Lowe.
James Lowe, correct. One of Leinster's top try scorers this season. So I suppose he would be there. David.
Jameson Gibson Park.
Jameson Gibson Park is here. That is correct. Ben, back to yourself.
Robbie Henshaw.
Robbie Henshaw is correct. Well done, David.
Josh van der Fleer.
Josh van der Fleer is also correct. I've no memory of him scoring, but I feel like he scored in a game that I've.
He scored in the final in extra time.
That's I knew he scored in a game that I remember, but I couldn't remember which one. Ben, back to yourself.
Kieran Frawley.
Kieran Frawley did score. Scored very famously a last-minute winner against Connacht in the sports ground. Sorry, Connacht fans, you've been mentioned twice and it's both for last-minute winners. David, yourself.
Rob Russell.
Do you know what? Again, probably gone too soon with that one. But if Ben fucks up again, it doesn't really make a difference. Back to yourself, Ben.
Scott Penny.
Scott Penny has to be here somewhere. He scored a multitude of tries. I actually didn't write down their number of tries beside them out of laziness. So
I'm pretty sure he scored against us.
He did. That's correct. He always does. David.
Sam Prendergast.
Correct. Sam Prendergast did score. Did he score against Connacht? I feel like. It was late season, I believe, that he scored a try. Or maybe Ulster. Everyone scored against Ulster. Everyone scored against Connacht as well in that game. Ben, back to yourself.
Former Munster Jason Jenkins.
Jason Jenkins did score. That is also correct. And just to pause off here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 players left. So this is going to come down to luck. David, it is back to yourself.
Oh my God. Throw the number down the board. Luke McGrath.
Luke McGrath has scored. Couldn't find him for a second. I was getting very worried, but he did. He also should have got sent off against the Bulls, but listen, them's the breaks. Ben, yourself?
Mr. Jimmy O'Brien.
Jimmy O'Brien did a fabulous job with his tries. He is there. David.
Very good at rugby.
Yeah, I like Jimmy O'Brien.
Max Deegan.
Max Deegan did score. I need to find his name is number 1. I skipped past it straight away. Yes, Max Deegan is there. Ben.
Tommy O'Brien?
Tommy O'Brien?
Yeah.
That's correct. I'll just segue for a minute. When I was at the Munster Leinster game last year, and I like Tommy O'Brien. I think Tommy O'Brien's a good, honest, like a very honest, typical Leinster player in that regard. And there was a lad shouting, "Oh, Tommy O'Brien," in the most rock accent you could imagine. Now, to be fair, I was in the prawn sandwich seat, so it's kind of my own fault. But I was very close to singing, "Oh, Mike Haley," when Mike Haley absolutely gassed him on like for a game defining intervention. Anyways, David, we're down to the last like 20 at this stage, right? Who would you want to go for?
I'm gonna take a little bit of a punt because I feel like I remember him scoring. Did Ross Burns score a try?
I'm looking. I don't have Ross Byrne. Do you know what? I will double check just to be safe because Ross Byrne doesn't score a lot of tries, so it could have
No,
easily
that's why I
been
felt like
past
it stood out in my head that he had.
Ross Byrne
Maybe
can't
that's
hold.
tough.
Ross Byrne did not score a single try this
Fuck.
season. And to be fair, he also didn't play a lot of games. So
No, he didn't.
I'll give you that. So the spoils on a Leinster question goes to the Munster man. You couldn't write it. You couldn't write it. I will give you the remaining players just now. So we also had Charlie Natai, Michael Milne, who scored 2 in one game, Jamie Osborne, flavour of the month, Lee Barron, Jack Boyle, Keane Healy, Ronan Kelleher, Ryan Baird, Liam Turner, Jack Conan, James Culhane, Thomas Clarkson, Gary Ringrose, which I thought you'd get, Joe McCarthy, Ben Murphy, Brian Deeney, is it John McKee?
John McKee.
Yeah, John McKee, Andrew Osborne, thought that would be a wild card one that someone would pull.
Yeah.
Ross Maloney, Cormac Foley, and Leinster's final original try scorer of the season, Michael Alatoa. So now,
Yeah, just disgusted by the number of players in there I could have gone for before I said Ross Byrne.
Ian Healy scored a try and Ross Byrne didn't.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know which one is worse because I do not associate Ross Byrne with tries, but at the same time, Jordan
Well,
Ireland
it stood out in my
World
head.
Cup.
Maybe it got chalked up. I don't know. Yeah, it's true.
Look, I thought Ireland didn't go to the World Cup, so I mean, look,
Yeah,
we all make errors.
we all make mistakes.
Yeah, Jesus, lads. Anywho, the next one, and I need to go back up for the question and not stay in the answers phase of my document. Every point score for Ireland in the calendar year. So every point score for Ireland from the 23 World Cup warm-ups, World Cup, Six Nations, and Summer Internationals. Every point score for Ireland in that block. So there's quite a few. I don't know how many. I believe I have a new player to get in there. I did not update this after the first test in South Africa, which is my mistake. But anyway, I got amended. So I'll give you a little bit of time, a little bit less time this time. So 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pens down. So every point score for Ireland since, well, basically in the last 12 months. So since the World Cup warm-ups started. Ben, you have the honours this time around.
Calvin Nash.
Calvin Nash is there somewhere. Yeah, I have him. There we go. Correct. David.
Jamie Osborne.
Do you know what? That was the name I put in there once I realised I had forgotten him. So if anyone's new scored after Jamie Osborne, which I don't think they did, forgive me. Anyways, Ben.
Craig Casey.
Craig Casey. Did Craig Casey score?
He scored a try. I'm pretty sure he got a try in a game in the Aviva during the summer. Am I wrong? Have I got it wrong already?
I don't have Craig Casey here.
Oh no. Oh no. Oopsies.
I'm going to have to double check it just on the off chance.
I'm fairly sure he got a try. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'm very sorry. My list of 10 is useless.
Do you mean this year or last year? That's the bigger question. 1 second now. So 2024.
I remember him celebrating with Crowley, but now I think maybe Crowley scored and Craig was just happy for him like he was.
Yeah, I mean Craig's a bit of a hype man, isn't
he? Didn't Casey give that last pass when Crowley went over in the corner?
Against Italy, yes.
Yeah.
That's true. So Craig did not score in 2024.
Oh no.
I would be fairly confident he didn't score in 2023. If I'm wrong, sorry. Anywho's.
No, I'm happy for you to be right and me to be an idiot. That's okay.
No, the only thing is, David still has to get this one right. So any player, because it's starting with N,
yeah.
David, any player who's going for Ireland
Ryan Bird.
I'm Baird did score. Correct. So David gets the spoils after just 2 monsters. That's abysmal. Every player who scored for Ireland in the last 12 months. Jack Crowley, who we fucking mentioned a minute ago, like, come on.
I know, but I was going to keep him for. I was like, Casey definitely got to try. It's fine. No, he didn't.
Johnny Sexton, James Lowe, Bundyaki, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Byrne, who got mentioned by Ben about 7 times before this. Don't forget mentioned. Matt Hansen, Hugo Keenan, Caelan Doris, Rob Herring, who I can't remember what game. I think that could be the small game. Jemison Gibson Park, Ross Byrne. Ross Byrne scored a try for Ireland, but not for Leinster.
Did he score a try or did he just score a conversion?
He scored a try. Oh no, sorry. This one is not just tries.
It's just any
correct.
Yeah.
And this one's points. Yeah, that's correct actually. But all the other point scorers were tries. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Ross Byrne, Gary Ringrose, Peter O'Mahony, Kieran Frawley, Dave Kilcoyne. I have no memory of Dave Kilcoyne scoring for Ireland in the last 12 months. I feel like it was the Italy game, but I'm not sure. It's the only game he kind of could have scored in, I think. Or maybe the Romania game.
That Samoa game?
I don't think he. No, I don't think he did. I don't think he scored either. Anyways,
he scored against Italy in the summer in the warm-ups.
Oh yes, there we go. He's barely played since. Sean McCluskey, also known as Peter Chef Toys man. Keane Healy did score for Ireland. Again, don't remember which game. Keith Earls, he scored against England, as we'll all remember. What a moment. What a moment. Jimmy O'Brien, fabulous player. Conor Murray, Big Joe McCarthy. Ian Henderson, Ronan Keller, Jack Conan, even bigger Andrew Porter, and Harry Byrne, who kicked a conversion against Wales? Was it Wales? Was it Italy? Italy. And Matt Williams lost his shit over it. He thought it was the greatest kick since Jan Carter's banana kick. So at the end of that round, and this is where the points become a little bit wider, it is David 26.5, Ben 19. There's only 10 points left. So
oh no.
Ben, okay. You know what to do here.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's round 7. Question number 1. This one is around the world. We go World Cup. What was the full-time score of the Rugby World Cup final? Another low-scoring game, a 1-point win for South Africa. But what was the full-time score? If you have it, write it down. Question 2. How many drop goals did George Ford kick against Argentina? It was not 100, despite what ITV may have made you think. It was also not 10, despite what ITV may have made you think. It was more than 1. But how many drop goals did George Ford kick against Argentina in that opening round game? It was an awful, awful game. Next one. I said I'd mention Ireland's World Cup quarter-final. Who refereed that crushing loss to New Zealand? Who was the man in the middle with the whistle as Ireland lost to New Zealand? Anyways, that's enough about that game. Yeah. Question number 4. In the final game of the entire pool stages, who did Portugal famously beat? Upset of all upsets, one of the great games of the World Cup. And again, because I love this question, who was the top point scorer of this year's Rugby World Cup? We had the top try scorer earlier, actually, come to think of it. But who was the top point scorer of the most recent Rugby World Cup? Give you a clue. He was English. But to be fair, they played 3 10s. So, you know, you wouldn't think an English player would win it, in fairness. I'll move on to round 8, final round, just because if we do slower than David has won or whatever, it would be shit crack. So we'll just move on to round 8. These ones are tricky. Question 1. Which French side were relegated from the top 14 this season? Van were one of the teams to come up, but who went down? See, told you these are tricky. Question number 2. You'll get to hear them again after, don't worry. Who won this year's Women's All-Ireland League? Doubleheader was played in the Aviva Stadium. Corkcon and Turn played the men's game. The women's game was not between those 2 clubs. But who won that game? Question number 3, and this is the most K-long question you could ever imagine being put into the final round of a quiz, which could have decided it all if it wasn't for Ben. Which Irish journalist name-checked James Gibson Park as Ireland's best ever nine? Not that I'd be petty or pedantic at all, but which Irish journalist claims that James Gibson Park was Ireland's best ever scrum half? I would tell you he was the Irish Independent, but I feel like you'd have just guessed that anyways. You know, so
I'm glad I think I'm
Um,
right.
question 4. Who was this year's men's sevens? It's not sevens anymore, it's SVNS apparently. Stupidest fucking rebound going. Sevens series champion this year. Now I hope I gotten this right because they kind of did a playoff thing that wasn't really a playoff thing. But anyways, who was this year's men's seven series champion? And you know what? I'll be sound to you. If you get one of the two answers I think you could put down, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
And number 5, final question of this quiz. Who topped the Gallagher Premiership at the end of the regular season? Funnily enough, it was not Quins and it was not Saracens, despite all the talk that they get. Neither of them, but who topped it? I'll just go back over round 7 questions again one more time. What was the full-time score of this year's Rugby World Cup final? How many drop goals did George Ford kick in their opening round victory over Argentina? Who refereed Ireland's crushing loss to New Zealand in the World Cup quarter-final? Who did Portugal famously beat in the final game of the pool stages of the Rugby World Cup? Pool C, such a vibe. Such a vibe that pool was. Question 5, who was the top point scorer of this year's Rugby World Cup? Finally, round 8. This was our miscellaneous round. Which French side were relegated from the top 14 this season? Arguably one of the trickiest questions I have in there because we all focus on the top and not the bottom. Who won this year's Women's All-Ireland League? Do you recognise now that might be a little bit leaning in one favour? Anyways, which Irish journalist name-checked James Gibson Park as Ireland's best ever nine? Irish independent journalist, I give you that much. Who was the men's 7 series champion at the end of this year? And who topped the Gallagher Premiership at the end of the regular season? So, gentlemen, pens down. I will go through the answers. The first one, what was the full-time score of the Rugby World Cup final? It was South Africa 12, New Zealand 11. Did you get it?
Yeah.
That's good now. And I know I told you to revise full-time scores. That's good. George Ford kicked 3 drop goals against Argentina. Okay. The man in the middle for Ireland and New Zealand was Wayne Barnes. Pity it didn't end up like 2007. Portugal defeated Fiji in the final pool game of the World Cup. And the man who was the top point scorer of the World Cup was Owen Farrell, which I found strange when I looked into it, and I still find strange. Final round, relegated from the top 14 was Oyena. Oyena were relegated. Ben, do you want to tell me who won the Women's All-Ireland League? Because I kind of forgot. It was UFOs. Ben's
beating Railway of Dublin in the final.
They did.
Yeah.
I
said Railway because I forgot.
Well, I mean, always back to blue.
It's
and
always
all that.
one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Or BlackRock. But BlackRock can never get all their internationals on the field at the same time. That's a bigger issue. The journalist who name-checked James Gibson Park as our best ever nine was Brendan Fanning. Yeah, thought you might get that. Now, the 7 series champion, as far as I was concerned, was Argentina. But France won that kind of last playoff event. So if you had either France or Argentina, I'll give it to you. Just because it was a fuckery of a system. It was basically, Antoine Dupont wants to win. Let's let him win. And finally, the team who finished top of the Gallagher Premiership was Northampton Saints. So, Ben, come to you first. How many did you get in the World Cup round?
5.
5. And the general knowledge round?
3.
3. Okay. You have the lead. Not by a lot. David, how many did you get in the World Cup round?
I got 5.
You got a 5. Okay.
Ooh.
And the general knowledge round?
Same as that, I got 3. They weren't the same 3, but I got 3 as well.
Okay. So this is, I'm not going to say how many points there were. The scoreline was 34.5 to 27 out of 50. That's seriously, I couldn't give you the fucking answers, but come on, like. The winner of this Munster Leinster rivalry, it breaks my heart to say it, even though he's a good friend of mine, is David Cordial of Leinster. David, congratulations. 34.5 out of 50 isn't too bad. I know the
Alright.
past parcel round really swung things like a lot.
I feel like I could have got more if I didn't have such faith in Ross Byrne. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, you
Famous
could have.
last words.
Jeez. Leo Cullen's Christmas card, how are you? To be fair, you could have won 39.5 to 22 if you hadn't got that, which that would have been abysmally bad. But anyways, gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope everyone who played along at home did a little bit better than 34.5. But to be fair, they weren't all easy questions. But gents, we will leave it at that. It has been a long season. So David, Ben, thank you very much for coming on tonight and to recap it in a very enjoyable fashion. It was better than just going through result after result and storyline after storyline like we did last year, but it was a bit of fun. And I'd like to give my sincere thank you to every contributor, listener, subscriber, commenter, and friend of the show who has contributed since we started our coverage back at the start of August last year. It's now the 18th of July as we record this. It's been a long year. It's time for a proper actual break for me. I'll be sitting down to watch the Open Championship this weekend, and I don't think anyone will blame me. Next season's coverage will officially commence in mid to late August, give or take, maybe September. But there's a very special announcement coming soon as well for those of you who like the URC. Let's just put it that way. I've been your host, Kaylan Scully. Thank you so much for tuning in on a momentous season for the channel. Dear David and Ben, congrats and commiserations, and thank you for coming on. Chat soon, everyone. Take it easy.